It's the whole body of law. You can look in the Bible. It starts with the Bible, basically.
Yeah, we started there.
The Magna Carta, Blackstone's commentaries, all the rulings, and all the rulings, dude, orders generate liability for bills. And the judges know this. But I don't think I answered your question as well as you would have liked. Serve a notice of understanding and intent and make the claim. If you give me an order, you're liable for my bill, and the bill will be greater than the liability you place on me. And see if anyone disputes.
Who do I send that to?
Anyone who would try to give you an order.
Right on.
And their mom.
I just want to know, just a quick kind of update on what's going on with Freedom is Cool.
With what?
With the schooling, like Freedom is Cool.
We are working on that. I had an idea on how to start getting people happening with this. Because what I have found is in my own path, I didn't do it alone. I had people by my side the whole time. I don't think it's possible to do it by yourself. I like the double buddy system, where you should be working together in groups of 3. If you get pulled over, anything happens, you got phone numbers to call. And this can be such a confusing path at times. You need people who you love and trust to correct you and spank you and give you a smack in the head when you need that too.
And just quickly, the 1-800 number thing you guys are discussing, is like what's going to happen with something like that? Like
I'm not really my involvement in the World Freeman Society basically rests on me being point man. All the administrative details are being taken care of by people with administrative skills, because I have none. Anyone else? Who's going to buy a package? I have to sell a package to generate some coin. And are you buying one? You're the man.
I ordered one already for the site. I've been waiting mail for the last while.
Did you get paid? Did you pay already?
I paid, yeah. I sent out the money order certified check.
Bastard. Okay, you get one for free. Who's going to pay one then?
I actually have the receipt in my phone.
I believe you, buddy. I probably have got your check in that box right there, and I just haven't gotten around to shipping it out yet. Did I mention my lack of administrative abilities?
Yes. I had another question. A friend of mine told me that he wrote a letter to CRA along with his 2007 tax return. And a friend of mine sent a letter to CRA along with his tax return for 2007, claiming that he wasn't the person they taxed, and they lawfully took his money, and they sent him back a check for the whole 2007 return without question or dispute or anything. That sounds like something that...
It sounds like it wouldn't have happened 6 years ago, but they're getting inundated with people making these claims, and they're starting to see, dude, when we get our own courts, all this comes back and bites them right on the ass in a very big way. And they're starting to change that now. I've seen courts now where judges are specifically asking people, do you consent to me providing this service? And that wasn't happening 3-4 years ago. So yes, I see that. But they just want to keep you in the fold, eh? As long as you keep your number, yeah, we'll give it back.
How you doing? I was hoping you could tell me, as far as the claim of right goes, and the initial one that you would do to notify the government that you're not consenting to them and all that kind of stuff. Where do you send that? I know you're sending lots to everyone.
To whoever is going to be affected. When I did it, I made a list. The queen was at the top, the dog catcher was at the bottom, and I made a list, and everyone in between got a copy. I made extra copies, and I was putting them on cop cars, watching them come with a camera, and they'd have to pick it up, and as soon as they touched it, I said, "You're served." So I got out there big time.
Is that something that you would reserve after an election?
No, once it's done, it's done. If that was the case, you'd be constantly doing it. That makes no sense to me.
Right.
It's up to them to express to the incoming party what the liability is, not you. Although it doesn't hurt to do it. And if you want to, because a lot of people think of it, well, I want to do just the minimum. But it's not just for you, it's for everyone else as well. You've got to, in certain respects, if you want to cross a minefield successfully, you follow the footsteps that don't end in craters. That's how you get across. But then in another respect, if you want to create a path for the future generations, you are going to have to follow a path Forget the footsteps, leave your own. And a whole bunch of people leaving their own footsteps within a certain parameter creates the path.
I have a question. If one was to be summoned to court with a summons, how would they go about finding out who the judge is going to be so that they could serve the notice of understanding?
I wouldn't worry about that. When you look at a summons, it says, "You are hereby commanded in the name of Her Majesty." And the way we dealt with that, with Luke Denis and whatnot, we had fun with this. Wrote back and said, "I notice in the summons you're commanding me to appear in the name of Her Majesty." The question is, am I subject to the commands of Her Majesty? Because if I'm not, you using her name has no effect on me. Plus, you haven't really identified who Her Majesty is. Could be the Queen of Holland for all I know. And according to the Royal Styles Titles Act, you're supposed to refer to Elizabeth in a very specific way. So we wrote back and we said, we'd love to make you happy and accept your commands, but we're not quite sure who Her Majesty is that you're speaking and whose name you're speaking. It could be the Queen of Hearts, and she's your best friend, but the Queen of Diamonds, she'll beat you if she's able. So we really need to know who the hell is commanding us. And then bring it out to that, dude, because the Queen can't command you. And in Alice in Wonderland, the Queen tries telling her, "Off with her head, nonsense," and the Queen was silent. These people, their ability to command you is based upon you accepting that there's a Queen who you must answer to. And if there's not, their commands mean nothing. And again, it's a conditional acceptance. I will accept your command if you can prove I'm subject to the commands of the person whose name you're using. So identify that person and then prove I'm subject to it. And they can't do any of that.
But if you do want to know who the judge is going to be, is there a way of
You
going
do
about
not know. It gets assigned the day you show up.
Yeah, okay.
There's no way to pick it.
Okay, thanks.
Serve them all.
Hi, actually, it's pretty funny because my question is about the Queen. I've heard that she has some, like, Crown land property that, well, I know she has Crown land property, but if you were going to, say, do a claim of right on a piece of Crown land, is there, like, a kind of, is there going to be a hierarchy, like, with that, or, like, does she supersede it all?
Your assumption is that when they say Crown land, it refers to the Queen, and it doesn't at all. From the research I found, they used the term the Crown and the right of the province of Ontario, Crown and the right of the province of Canada, BC, whatever. This has nothing to do with the Queen, nothing to do with Elizabeth at all. That whole body of words means the de facto existing government. That's all it means. So they use the word crown like it means an actual crown. It doesn't. It's just these people playing their de facto games.
Okay, is there a way that you can, like, because the research that I kind of looked into a little bit about the Queen is that she even has the ability to come over and declare an emergency state in Canada and possess all, even private property. Like, is there something that you can say?
How is she going to do that?
Well, no, but I mean, I know she wouldn't, but...
Come and get it, Elizabeth. What are you going to do? There's nothing she can do.
So there's not going to be any type of, like, you don't have to supersede her because she doesn't, it's a de facto
No, the way I look at it, I think she is the good nanny.
Okay.
How she travels throughout the Commonwealth, that's how we're invited to travel. And
Nice.
the land she claims as hers, that's just her holding on to it as a good nanny until we wake up to the fact that it belongs to us.
Fantastic, thank you.
That's what I think.
Hi. I, about a year ago now, did all the necessary arrangements to take back my birth certificate, the account number that's associated with the birth certificate.
Your security?
Yeah, I wrote all the necessary, did all the information, sent it off to all of the different politicians and everything. Well, my question is, how long of a time can lapse before you've...
If you don't have it in 30 days, I'd hit them with 337.
Okay.
But I also see that unless we have a proper court, they're just going to give you a big runaround. It's a bunch of kids playing keep away with your hat. And until they see that we can come up and take their property, because recently the Supreme Court ruled that property, which are the proceeds of crime, can be removed from the criminal without any court case, no charges against them. They